And we're live. Welcome to another episode of Easy Sports. And today I'm joined by the legend himself, Sihle N. What's happening?
I'll drink water to that.
Yeah. Hey, today you're drinking water, my guy.
It's
Hey, welcome to
Wednesday,
the
but we have to stay
party.
hydrated. What's this? Kind regards requires us to be hydrated.
Good. I know. Do you have water there by your spot?
Nah, I just finished it.
No, I meant as in they're not maintaining anything there.
Oh yeah, no. Oh, sorry, man. Yeah, we don't have water.
Bruh, as it sucks, Mpada. It really sucks, Mpada.
Yeah,
Yo.
we haven't had water. What day? Today's Wednesday. We haven't had water since Monday evening.
Gee whiz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the weird part is my neighbors are going ape ish, man. And I'm like, I'm used to this. Like at some point, because there's no water and there's no water.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
And,
People
and
were
the,
meant to
and the
be
weird part,
prepared.
there's a sports center up the road. So that's where they have the car that I can't remember the name. The car that delivers the truck that delivers
Oh,
water.
yeah.
Water
Yeah.
tanker.
The water
Yeah,
tankers.
and I'm like thinking, how you come on, guys? You're jumping in your car, you're starting your car with your 25 liters. You get there, they fill for you. Imagine, we used to have wheelbarrow and
Yeah.
But anyway, we're not going to
100%.
talk about the
100%.
politics and the socio-economic status
Yeah,
of South
but
Africa.
yeah, people were meant to fill up their bathtubs, especially if you've got two bathtubs, Just fill up one. At
I
least.
don't. You think about it. You also think about it. You sitting with a 60,000 liter pool of water
Yeah,
that you only use in summer. Come on. You can use that to
100%.
flush
You
the
can use.
toilet.
You see what I'm saying, dog. We're giving people tips here. Guys. If you in Johannesburg and you don't have water, we're just giving you tips so that next time you are prepared.
Yeah, I wonder sometimes, like, which one do you prefer not having, water or electricity?
Hey, both are a necessity, my guy. Both
But
are a
like, you have to give one. But anyway, let's talk. Let's talk important things that can change the world.
Yeah, 100%. I wanted us to dive into the Club World Cup. I know your team is still in it. And yeah, man.
Representing
So
representing EPL.
yeah, the last EPL team standing, bro, which is
Yeah.
crazy. Which is
I think
crazy. Yeah.
yeah.
Go. I know you can go.
There's a match that we lost against Jorginho's team, and they were making fun of us.
Flamingo.
And in hindsight, I'm thinking about, it's like, okay, cool. We really wanted to top the group and whatnot, because like that's the natural thing. But like a tournament like this, the World Cup in itself, you pace yourself. You don't want to peak too early, because you get fined out. You just want to gradually survive the group stages. Like, I always view it that way. Gradually survive the group stages, then the knockout stages. That's when you start showing who you are. Because if you peak too early, Because what ended up happening by us losing that game, Jackson being sent off, and all of those beautiful things, is we ended on the left-hand side of the draw. I'm not saying that the left-hand side is an easy side, cheese. But the right side, the right side was a bit hectic. I mean, look at each dude: PSG, Bayern, Madrid, Dortmund. Okay, Dortmund, but like, I'd prefer for us to finish second and have this, even though it puts pressure on us. If we're being honest.
No, it really does. It really does. I mean, didn't Cheese's team also weren't they on the left hand side as well?
The man, you haven't even greeted the man, and you're hitting him with.
No, I'm just asking, guys. Come on, why does everyone get so offended when I ask questions? I ask Shiva.
Greet the man first.
I answer Shiva. I answer Cheese.
Alali on him.
Remember, dog, on the group how Shiva came for me, bruh. And I was just answering a question. Cheese asked the question. I answered it. Shiva comes for me. In the League of Ooms this morning when City lost, and I was watching the game. I won't lie. I caught the second half and finished it off. I asked
Well, you
Sue a
hate watching
simple
it.
question. No, no, no. It's because I saw the scoreline when I woke up. It was 2-2. So I'm like, okay, damn, this game must be hot. Let me tune in and see Varganan. And then I was just watching. And then I text League of Ooms because 2 is very loud. I'm like, hey, Chief, are you watching the game? And that's the question I asked. Hey, now I'm getting attacked. My friend, come on, come on. But anyway, Cheese, are you good, bro?
Nah, I'm easy, gents. I'm easy.
They're hitting you
It,
with the I'll
not,
what happened, cheese? Tell us.
Yeah, Kutlwano.
so more of the same of last year's problems. I think in games that are more challenging, we are found out more often than not in defense. I think we still don't have the right defensive combination. You can see Pep has been changing and tinkering a lot in terms of that, and it does create a problem for us, Ngubane, because that game we started without a defensive mid, right? Which basically means Pep was planning to press the opponents up high, and those guys were smart. They let us come push the ball up, and then they played it over the top, and our defense was just
Inzaghi,
struggling.
Baba, Inzaghi.
Yeah, yeah. Our defense was just struggling to deal with it, and it's the same sort of game plan that Inter had when Inzaghi played against us, in the Champions League games. So we really struggled in terms of finding the right solution, or the right answers defensively. And I told X on that same night or that same morning, Uti, we need to accept Ruben Diaz is no longer what Ruben Diaz was. He makes too many mistakes defensively, and his leadership isn't as great as it used to be. So we're suffering a lot from Pep, not making that decision, because I mean I would have preferred Akanji in that game. Maybe with Variol would have been a good
Yeah.
sort of combination, but
Yeah.
without a holding
Just
without
quick
any
one.
holding mid in that game, it was just so weird.
Quick one. Um, so I didn't watch the game. I only caught highlights of the game. One, what was the manager perhaps maybe looking ahead? Like it wasn't he was looking ahead onto the next game without winning this game. That's the first question. And then the second question, so I watched the extended highlights. They're about like 30 minutes long. It's still highlights. You don't really get to have a feel of the game. But what they were doing, they were focusing on Pep quite a bit. And I saw that he was quite irritable. I even watched his press conference. And then I wonder, um, is is Pep up for this rebuild project?
So I guess to start with the first question, right? And uh, I wanted to answer, but you said what was the first question again, Nguwan, with regards to
He had won the game on
yeah.
paper,
Uh,
and he was looking
so
forward to the next game.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
missing
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Urodri.
So it's not really like that, right? So overall, maybe to start with Rodri, they're still managing his minutes, because we realize how big of a problem it was last season for us without him. Yes, we've
Yeah.
got reinforcements, but you can't really replace a Ballon d'Or winner, right? And what Pep has been doing throughout the tournament is chopping and changing. So he's mixing the different combinations in the team to find the right combination. And I think against Al Hilal was not the right time for him to do that. I don't think that game needed Bernardo Silva and a Gundogan both on the pitch at the same time. Wasn't a good idea. And then secondly, in terms of Pep, the Al Hilal guys were kicking. I wake up, man. Those guys were not playing. Those guys were bullying
Yeah.
City all over the pitch. And it eventually also led to Bernardo. Obviously, Bernardo is small, so he's the one who gets a lot of the bullying in terms of those games. And Pep was also fighting at the team, because it can't be Bernardo who's the only person who's trying to fight back. We must also fight fire with
Yeah.
fire. So it was that same sort of situation. Secondly, that game was terrible because our finishing was woeful. Haaland is really struggling in terms of form. I'm
Yeah.
a Golwaki, I'm a Pitani most of the time. It's like
Yeah.
if
Tap
something
in.
happened, it tap he bump somewhere, like Lamshai or Lashauban, Waltona.
Yeah.
He's not in the right groove. Um, and I think Omar Mush, as good as he is, he's not a number 9.
Yeah.
And you could see he played with someone who was the striker at his former team. I forgot
It
what his
was
name is.
Eketike.
Eketike, yeah.
Eketike. Yeah.
So you could see Guti, he really wants to play off someone. And
Yeah.
Uhalande started to
Fact.
improve that, to try to play off him, to try to get him in. So the combinations are still not great, but in the big games, that's where you really see City struggle defensively. The defensive frailties are always there for it's just crazy. And then we also have one of the worst keepers in terms of form in ages, and I've
Yeah.
been crying about this since last season.
You've been. I know. I
Oh,
know. I'm aware.
Edison, Edison, you take a shot at him, it's a goal. The
Mm.
last goal, I mean, the last goal for the team, he literally
Yeah.
parries it. He literally parries it to this guy who's standing right there. So yeah,
Yeah.
he got a lot of
Bernardo.
critique. He got a lot of critique for his performance during the
Mm.
week.
Yeah.
And then the second one, you need to address the second question: is Upep up for this rebuild project?
Yeah. So what I was saying is I always joke about Pep out, and the problem with me saying Pep out is there's no one really who can come into our team right now and change things. Yeah, he has to be the person who orchestrates it, right? What I like about Pep is he's completely reshuffled his management team. So to bring in new ideas, to bring in new changes, to assist him with defensive thinking and the obvious frailties. And I think through the season, which is what keeps me always exciting. Through the season, our team is probably going to be one of the most exciting seasons in terms of a City perspective because of the players we have in our squad right now.
I think
I
going
can't
forward
imagine.
more than anything.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think Pep needs to be there to rebuild. We just need to allow our team in this period to start again. And Pep can't be holding on to Abu Bernardo and Abu Kundo.
I
Those guys
think
need to play less and less this season.
I think I don't know if you know the concept of chowing by reputation, but basically it's you guys got spoiled as City, where you dominated to the point where when teams come in to play you already, they've tinkered their approach to try and block out whatever you guys are coming with. How that works is that you put Madlisa, you're the guy, and all the chicks just love you because you are known to be the guy. So I think that's what happened with City. You guys got spoiled rotten by just beating teams before before you even start the game. So
Yeah.
now you're getting these teams that are noticing the change in you in that transition phase, and that transition phase even for Pep, Pep is one of the greatest managers of our time. But
Which Sihle?
even that is yeah, magic. It's tricky even for a man like Pep. The one person that was able to do it seamlessly was Ferguson. But nah, yeah, he had moments where the transition phase where he was phasing out players and whatnot. Pep is really struggling. And I'm excited for the season that's coming. Reason one, a lot of these teams are spending huge money on attack, and
Bro.
they're not looking at the defense. Chelsea for one, City for two. Okay, I don't want to speak about Arsenal because yeah, Liverpool three. So it's going to be an interesting season, and this is my take. I think at some point during the season, Pep is going to give up.
Look,
Ah.
on the defensive, we bought a lot of defenders. Remember at the beginning of the year when we were
Yeah.
struggling. So we have about two or
In
three
the Jan
defenders.
period.
In the
Yeah.
so we have a very versatile squad, and Gubani, it's a very young squad as well. I think our average age now, obviously, we still have Gundo and Benado, but our average age now is almost around 26, 27. Right, the oldest person now who came in is probably Mamouche, and he's what, 26. So
Yeah.
a lot of the guys who are the backbone and the crux of the team are going to be the guys who are still there in the current space. However, it's for me, it's not a threat about what other teams are capable to do. It's about what your team needs to do to avoid those situations.
Uh,
If you go into the league, right, thinking about what Liverpool is doing and how you're going to stop Liverpool, then you're already going into the league the wrong way. You need to find a
yeah.
way to beat other teams, and that's the biggest thing. If United come into this season again thinking about how they want to beat the top six teams, it's the wrong way in terms of approach.
Yeah,
They need to have
They'll
their
beat the
own
100%.
top
game plan in
six and
terms
then
of
lose.
winning
They'll beat
games.
the top six and lose to everyone else.
100%.
Winning games, and that's the difference in terms of what Solskjaer said. Solskjaer, when he was at United, said we're gonna play this way because it plays to our strengths in order for us to win games. He must not have been the most fanciest manager at that point in time for Man United, but he came with that specific strategy, and it worked. Whenever Bruno got the ball and he played it over to Rashford, Rashford was punishing teams, and they were running behind a lot, right? And
Mm.
because Pep has been doing the same thing, or not the same thing, but not tweaking too much of how he's played over the past few seasons. Almost 4 seasons in a row where he won the league. Teams are going to start figuring you out. Your
Yeah.
players are going to start being worn out of the ideas, and it just becomes monotonous. Like every day you understand what you need to do. It just becomes the same.
Robots.
Yeah.
Say the word. Say the word.
That yeah,
Robots.
yeah, you can and I don't think robot, like I always fight with the word robot. Robot's not really the right word. It's a rhythm. It is versus rhythm. One song can win that flow state as a team. One song can
Yeah.
win that flow state as a team. It seems like everyone is a robot because we
Muscle.
understand the game plan together as a unit. That's how
Yeah.
we're able to execute things on the pitch. And if you can't
Yeah.
do that, it's fun.
It's muscle memory also.
Mm.
Repetition builds that in you. It's like
Yep.
tennis players. Like
Yep. Yep.
they have an understanding of their bodies, like all
Yeah.
professional sport.
Njengo coach wenu uMaresca ngubani uMaresca is hammering that in consistently into the team in terms of how they're going to play. Even the new guys who come in, we all understand how we want to play as a team and what's the end goal. If you come into the team and you are distracted and you don't understand what the end goal of the manager is, you're going to struggle. If the
Mm.
manager is also not able to change and adapt his approach to adapt to the other environment in terms of what teams are doing, you're going to struggle. And
Mm.
that's what Pep struggled with last season, and it's coming out as well in that game against Al Hilal.
There's a comment I think Kutlwana made where he was praising Inzaghi. Um,
Yeah.
is it the right time to speak of the Saudi league as a league?
Oh.
Because right now it's a what do
Mm,
we call it? It's
mm.
a it's
Ngubane,
a man. It's free money.
Man City lost against Manchester United last season. We are part of the teams that United is 3 points off of last season.
There's your
So
answer. Okay, thank you.
it's for me, it's the current City team is not the right one to base for what we are going into the new season. And we cannot now all of a sudden say the Saudi League because of Ronaldo. I want to say because you
Yeah.
want to say agree with what Ronaldo says. Ronaldo hasn't won a league title since he's been there.
100%. And this team, Al Hilal, is the best team in
Yeah,
Saudi right now.
between this one and the one you got Benzema, Al
Yeah,
Ittihad.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because like there's like talks with the league. Oh yeah, there's like the league is up there. Like
Yeah.
what does that mean? I never
Yeah.
understand because like it. I don't think
But
I don't watch much League 1, the French league, because they don't have broadcast rights anyway. But I don't think the Saudi league can compete with the League 1 about PSG.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
so
did.
so I have a perfect example, right? In
Well,
terms of what is happening in the Saudi League, right? Al Hilal is the team that probably has one of the most European-based players
yeah.
starting in the starting
Thank
lineup.
you.
I think they only have
Yeah.
one player who's not
Mm.
from Europe in that starting lineup, and I think it was one of the centre backs, right? That's probably one of the main teams that is structured like that. So
Yeah.
now, if we take that same example and we bring it back to PSL, because Sundowns played like that in Club World Cup, are we now saying that the PSL, the whole of the PSL, where clubs are struggling to get even 6 points and 12 points after 12 games or something? Are we now saying that Sundowns is a representative of how strong the PSL is? It's not.
100%. It's
Yeah,
not.
the
That's
same
true.
Sundowns that has won the league 7 years in a row.
You see,
Nah.
it's not.
Yeah. And if they
That's not the
win
case.
comfortably as well, it's not
Now,
like we take them to the
PSG,
wire.
PSG,
Mm-hmm.
PSG is not a direct representative of the French league. We had a whole discussion in the group about how how bad the French league is now in terms of all
Yeah.
those clubs that are below that, right? And PSG always outshines all of those teams in that league, unless one blip season where they struggle. But that's
Yeah.
because they have the best players in that whole league, and that represents doesn't mean that it makes the French league strong.
Same thing with
I hear
German
you.
Bundesliga.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like for
Even
me,
though, oh,
the more competitive leagues we have, the better it is for these players who are either up and coming and. But then I fear with what happened with the Chinese league. I don't know if you guys recall what happened with the Chinese league, where they took
yeah.
Oscar, our boy that was like, yeah, they took him, gave him a lot of money. They invited a lot of these Brazilian players. Hulk was one player that went there and whatnot, and it fizzled out because it wasn't sustainable. The country wasn't ready to host. The country wasn't ready to appreciate what football really is. Also, Saudi, it's the same thing because, like, guys, if you're being honest, it's a different culture. The training regime is very different from what these guys are used to. Because of the weather. I think last I checked, they can only train, or the matches are late in the evening, and you can't train in the morning because it's way too hot. So your whole life changes, and these players are so used to like a certain way of doing things. Now that goes out the window. But I get it. I want them to succeed because the more they throw money at this, the more it becomes competitive, and some of these guys get well, they can uplift themselves because if we're being honest, most of the brilliant soccer players don't come from money. But I just don't want the same thing that happened in China to happen in Saudi. Although I get it that the oil money is very good. It's always been there. Cheese knows it. His club has
Yeah.
realized that they're not the only oil club. But yeah, all the best to them.
Yeah. I know, guys. I'd like for us to segue a bit now.
Where are we
It's
going?
still with regards to the Club World Cup now. I just wanted us to, of course, at the top, these are the European teams that usually uh, make the most money in these tournaments. But I wanted us, can you guys see?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah, I
doing the
wanted us
math
to,
real quick. So I'm
yeah, for
going to
Sundowns.
XE and yeah, to have a look
Yeah,
at how much that is. So they
yeah, can
won how
we,
much? 12 mil.
$12.6 million. I want you to convert there for us, fam.
I'm doing that right now. Oh, it's 221 million
So that's how much they made from this tournament.
in rand value. Yeah.
Don't go
Yes.
there, X. Tinas no wisno apolis, no sipombuli.
Oh yeah.
Bazochaiva. Bora, they're gonna bazochaiva this season, it's fine.
Yeah. And then did you
So
see even Shaluli, that dog, is also a free agent?
yeah, he
No,
is. I
we
saw
can't
that.
sign
I think
Shaluli.
Umtawung has held him up hostage and whatnot, and they're trying to get him to sign, but not gonna happen because Apolis I was hoping Apolis signs for Chiefs, but anyway, we're not gonna talk about those two. They're not important right now. Sundowns. Um,
How this guy
Yeah,
dismisses us,
you sound
dog.
so hurt, bro. You
Clear.
sound so hurt,
Sundowns,
bro.
gents. I think I
Yeah.
think I think is Sundowns. We had a show. The last show we were talking about Sundowns and how they've represented the continent in that tournament. Um, Huge praise for them. But what that does is Sundowns then comes back home. Two things happen. One, the players that were participating and they were present, they get scouted across Europe. Because I was looking, who's that striker boy? Now they want him for 50 mil. 50 mil is quite a 50 mil is quite a huge chunk. I mean, Super Sport was sold for 50 mil. So
Which is
now you look at Sundowns and the financial power, financial muscle that they have right now. They've gone into a tournament, walked away with 200 plus million rands. For you to get the 200 plus million rand, you must win the league for 22 years. But anyway, let's leave that aside. Right now, Sundowns is going to go on a run where for the next 4 years, the league is theirs. I appreciate what Iron Duke is trying to do at Pirates and whatnot, but Sundowns they've got the financial muscle. Sundowns 3-4 games into the season, if Bayabona go to the manager is not the one, he goes. And I don't think Pirates can afford to do that. Sundowns can have 2 squads, Team A, Team B, of top talent without even flinching.
No, but
That's just
but
Sundowns.
last season was different, man. Sundowns couldn't play a lot of the second choice players. In the league last season, Sundowns had to go and get their points early because there was a lot of games where they had a few hiccups. Even the game against Magesi, for example. So a lot of those guys, Ngubane, if the rest of the league can be competitive, the problem with the PSL, right, Ngubane, is that amateam njenge-Pirates and Chiefs azofuna ukuba serious once I realize ukuthi sewa 20 points behind the Sundowns, and that's too late though.
Yeah,
You need to
that's
go
true.
pound for pound. You need to win your games, and you need to push the same thing. And then Shonolo, Sundowns is fine. Pirates needs a striker. We can't go Ngabo again next season hoping to
Yeah,
dismantle the Sundowns. We can buy all of the players in the midfield who can create chances, right? But at the end of the day, we need a striker. If we don't have a striker in Pirates, we are going to struggle. We are going to struggle. So Santos can have all the money in the world, Kuban. It's our teams that need to fix it. Now, could you guys sign the guy from Premier League, Mos, or something?
It's a region. So I mean, I'll tell you about the Pirates. The Pirates, out of all the other teams in the league, the Pirates I can watch. I love the brand of football that you play. It's more a hate watch more than anything, but like I enjoy the type of football that you play. And then I watch Sundowns, and then I look at their bench, and I'm like, man, how are we gonna compete with this? And I honestly I struggle. I can't find it in me to say there's hope for anyone. So now we're just gonna be fighting for scraps, guys. Okay, you guys last season you pushed until the last 2 months. But
yeah.
I don't see you guys doing that again. I don't. I'm just sorry. I'm being pessimistic.
You're being
Mfana,
pessimistic. You're being
Mfana,
pessimistic.
when Pirates lost our strong defenders, that became a problem for him. Going to tell her how I hate watching Kogi play for the
Yeah,
Pirates.
good.
Just watching
Yeah,
Kogi play, you can just see which we want goal down because it's going to do something that's going to lead to us conceding a goal.
yeah,
So, Melabu
yeah.
Sesani, once we have our best defenders back in the team, we can start to rejig how we play. But fun. We score one. We already don't have enough strikers to score goals. We score one. We're gonna concede one. Now we have to try and score because the game is away 2-1. But the most important thing is that we did not make Ngiyazi head coach. If we made Ngiyazi head coach, this is so.
But what happened? Because I thought you guys were going for Pep Junior. I was hearing rumors. Uti he was
Nah,
he
nah,
wasn't a
nah.
thing.
Yeah, no,
Lawyer
no.
Sangan, Lawyer Sangan, I hope I'm gonna the stream, but lawyer, all right.
Good.
All right, I got the cheese. If I cheese must say coach work, you can go there, but yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Sizokhuluma nge-Chiefs, not today.
Yeah.
Chiefs will miscarriage your mood, my guy.
Yeah. I wanted us to segue
You're not
to
sharing
Super
anymore.
Sport. Yeah, to Super Sport.
You mean Siwelele Football Club?
Oh yeah, Siwelele Football Club, guys.
This
Like
doesn't
my
exist
view,
anymore. This
my
current
take
picture
on
of
this,
yours no longer exists.
my take on
yeah.
this, this needs to stop.
Oh
This
no, 100%.
honestly, it's a joke
100%.
now. It's a freaking joke. Every second season or every season, there's like clubs changing and that. It's jumping castle. Like this needs to change. I don't know what's going to happen with in the team Mamkis. I forgot now.
Oh, it's done, Baba. That
It's
team.
done, that team.
What's happening?
Israel AM.
Yeah, it's. I think it's liquidated even. It's done.
Yeah.
So now we have to
Yeah,
get 2 teams coming in,
but
and then those 2
discipline.
teams that are going to come in are going to go down. And if one of them manages to survive, they're going to sell the status. It's a known fact that's gonna happen.
And maybe Mustang is the status. It's what, it's plus minus about 25. I don't know how we fix South African football, but like there's a lot that is wrong. I think one, angeke isipane lento, but what in England what they do is, if kune game in the area, they don't broadcast it. So for you to actually watch the game, Fanele Stadium, we've spoken at length about this. Okay, what can we do to get fans back a stadium?
But ngubane
It's
ungakhohlwa ukuthi wena ukhuluma nge-disc that's run by a federation, FA runs it. La eSouth Africa i-PSL yazenzela baba ngubane.
Oh, yeah.
I-PSL mayithi i-PSL mayithi ungubane ngathenga inclub ka Scizi, it's done. I was
Yeah.
bona badile ngemali ba run i-journal lapha and change ama name change, which is the
but I
biggest
think, guys,
problem
like
with South African football.
we need more discipline. Like this, every Robert Marawa, every beginning of the season, there's something changing. There's this. I know that you go from supporting a super sport, Lavabe super sport buyers, because they're not going to go to Sundowns.
Yeah.
Are they going to go geographically?
No, I'm a player code. So i-super sport, ama player super sport manje aya eBloemfontein.
Bloemfontein.
Kuzoba yisuwelele, but they buy everything. If 50 million buys all of those players who play for super
and
sport.
And the Sundowns is selling a player for 50 million.
Nama Cox wabo yonke into 50 million.
Which is
So
messed up. Yeah, there needs to be
needs-
an independent federation that runs EPSL that isn't influenced by anyone. That it's just like how Cheese spoke about EFA. There needs to be something of that sort.
Nah,
in
it's too late.
SA.
It's too late. Yep.
Yeah. But the thing is that
I'll make you a stupid example. I don't know if you guys have seen Steenhuisen lately. With Steenhuisen was the DA Steenhuisen. He was tiny when because he had energy when he was fighting against the government. Now that he's part of the government, he's swimming in the gravy. Have you seen how much weight he's picked up? He's picked up weight on his face. So it's the same thing that happens with Safa. From the outside, they all talk, hey, this needs to happen, this needs to happen. But at the end of the day, they taste the gravy, ishaile. We are left with this product. So PSL as a product, as a complete package, it's beautiful. I think in as much as DSTV helped this, I can't remember how many millions or hundred, I can't remember the exact figure. It helped in that a lot of people got to watch DSK and whatnot, and they injected imali. But at what cost? Because now when we watch the game, Ubuge Stadium, daughter, unless it's Chiefs that's playing, the stadium is like COVID times, and that's not sustainable.
But so one of the key things again, Ubani, is that in South Africa we don't have FFP.
Yeah.
Right, because regulations are coming from SAFA down to EPSL. In PS, whatever PSL says goes. If you don't yellow card in industry, yellow cards, I now hamper negotiating in FIFA by hamper you team and a system. Like most of the ticket traffic, you know, do a cold drink. I'm a yellow card work ourselves, which is becoming like a mob. Specifically, get space run like a mob.
Yeah.
Now,
and you know what? Yeah.
If the owners are rich, then the league can do whatever. But then you realize, hey, you're playing another big game, managing subs who shares to come and get involved in these situations and your dealings. Because when
they'll do this.
100%.
And Uzobona Cape Town City are gonna come in, not Cape Town Spurs is on game. And the Cape Town Spurs was formerly Ajax.
Yeah.
So Cape Town Spurs, if they survive this season, Bazo saying the status to Cape Town City, because Cape Town City has more financial power than them to staying in the PSL.
Yeah,
which is
in as
much as I want to bring a franchise, the rugby franchises, I think that the best if Modise is present, because the model of sponsor, like it really works for them, because what's backers and funders. And I look at these rugby games, and what are these things called? Suits at the stadium
Yeah.
are properly packed. So now we only talk of suits when Chiefs and Pirates are playing, or Sundowns
Yeah.
are fact. Like only when Chiefs and Pirates are
There's
playing.
people who own those suites. Like I'm a
Yeah.
suites, they own them. Whoever's good to taking this, so you buy them. Mohammed Babahlala. Like a good diski baba sweet. Ungahlangana nendoda efake all star engcolile today. Monga sweet. Ungazi ukuthi ithole kanjani the entrance yakho. Yabo.
Yeah.
So the 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 problem in PSL or the SAFA is they have money that they're getting from the country. But Leo Maleo, yeah, safe, they just keep chowing it and chowing it and chowing
Yeah.
it and chowing it. Ngenzakali nix. Right now I posted a thing in the group as well.
It's all
About
business. It's not
Tubanyama.
personal,
Yeah.
so we must suffer. It's not personal.
Well, you see, and
Yeah.
EPS Isafa right now is failing to pay salaries for our professional athletes. How?
Yeah.
How? How is that a thing, dog? How is
No,
it that Udeni Jordan can fly and go to the Club World Cup and not answer for things like this that are pending with
Yes.
current CAF
Pending.
champions? Current CAF champions.
ah, but I think he shy for Uten. And um, the
Yeah.
history will tell you that once a dictator leaves either a country or an organization, things go south because
Yeah.
everyone is used to their pocket being now
Full.
that tap has been closed. So it's going to be very interesting. But I think right now, Uten is going to need all the protection that he can probably get.
Yeah, you can.
Because I don't know if we've spoken at length about him appearing at that in Parliament,
Yeah. Court
where
of
Yeah,
appeal.
yeah.
yeah, and it was an interesting take because he trended for a couple of days, and for you to trend for a couple of days, um, you're not just trending soccer players only. You're trending the whole country is like looking at this and saying, no man, because soccer fans have been saying, I need like step aside for now. I think you've ran your race, pass the baton over to the next guys, but you can see that he's not there. He always says, "Nah, this is my last term," and then when it's time, he says, "If the people want me, I'm here. I'm available to serve." But I think
But
he's done all that he could.
but it's not the only
Back,
one, Gugan.
He's not the
Mani
only one.
which is
Mani
the next point I was going to
Yeah.
get at.
Mani
Ash, a lot of people need to bounce, Mpan. A lot, Mpan. And another thing is, guys, in Teshire is this conflict of interest. You
Yep,
can't be owning a PSL team and also being on the board of the PSL.
yep. And the
That's
board
that
of Safa, my
of
friend.
Safa, bro.
And you're
And
part of the
what?
committee itself, yep.
Yeah, like once I saw a PWC statements, which is also crazy how like this is allowed that you can own a club and also be a board member. It doesn't it really doesn't make sense. Mfethu. Like I was baffled that such information is in the public and nothing is happening about it. You
Yep.
know. So hey guys.
Which goes back to the point I'm saying, Gusi,
Mm,
EPSL is run like a mob business. That's
mm,
why
Well,
Ukutra Namat is all business. It's a
mm,
mob business.
the country
We
itself is like that.
mm.
If you
agreed
think
one,
about
except
it,
corporate. We ask the corporate good ngeke kwenzeke into
I
ezikanje corporate.
I don't
Yeah,
want
But
I know there's rules,
but
governance. Yeah.
I'll tell him, me and
Mm,
obviously it's pretty, but there's a lot of things in citizens or PSL that's wrong for it. It's been
mm,
wrong for years. I mean, when I first
yeah.
started as well, I was also part of those reviews. But no way, in fact. There's no
Mm,
way, nowhere else in the world is situation ends like South Africa ends elsewhere. That's why
yeah.
if when Wahamba we were Jolan and ka Ivan cause or Gaban we soccer play, you'll never ever hear of that person ever again playing football in the country. Ganja, Joe.
Yeah, that's true. For the mere fact that yeah, they can do that, like just blackball you
Just
like
imagine,
that.
dog.
Yeah, it's messed up, dog. It really is
So
messed up.
so in JPSL and Fana
Mm.
we are held mess in fact by them,
Mm-hmm.
by Safa themselves. They can't even get funding for themselves to run the business.
Mm.
I mean, it's appalling, fit.
No, it really is, fun. It really, really is. And gents, this was the main okay, the picture that I posted. I also wanted us
Ah,
to discuss
training
briefly.
match. Training match. I won't talk
Yeah,
much.
yeah. There's a guy who went to see Sihle Suchi's school, who is now a Springbok. You know, cheese. You know,
Cheesy,
when you think
cheesy.
back, you know, like, did you ever think that your high school would produce a Springbok ever?
I
Or
mean,
you thought,
mfethu mina high school yami is yazi ngiyithanda because azange basidlalisa idisk. Bafuna nje bafuna nje kusibona sisafara. But I mean, we've always been a school that had a lot of potential. Fun.
mm,
Remember, we used to go with a guy from like, I think it was in
mm.
grade 9 already. Lo muntu bekahamba tennis tournament in the US. Basically,
Yeah.
swimming in competition. So there was a lot of that potential. Fun.
Mm.
Um, and angazi, did you think it would be a situation like that?
To be honest with you, I'm not sure when last did you drive by that at your high
Ah,
school?
fun. I
It's
mean,
been years.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they now have an Astro, by the way. Jeez.
Oh,
They now have
nice,
an
nice.
Astro. You know, for the mere fact that they now have an Astro and they are public school, yeah, that's when I knew that something is brewing. Something is really brewing. I was also looking at the Easter festivals. We're now playing against Abu Saint Stephen and St. John's in
Yo.
rugby.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah, yeah.
know, we ranked higher than Parktown boys.
Mm.
Like, that's when I knew it's okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
there's
We're
something
serious.
cooking. Yeah, this school is
Ubani
taking off.
ophethe sports futhi it can't be Mr.
It
Didrix.
is. It's
Ew.
Dietrich's dog.
And Hasselman.
Dietrich's I hustle man. It's Dietrich's and some other guy, Mr. Yo. I forgot his name. They were interviewing them on Newsroom Africa. No
Mm.
Vault. Yeah, no Vault
Oh,
is
Mr.
still.
Van der Walt is still there.
Yeah, it looks like a Madala now.
Yo. I Mr. Van der Walt
Yeah,
there. Mr. Van der Walt was Sharma Jensen in the yo.
yeah,
Anyway.
but dude, yeah,
Yeah,
he was.
maybe that's how
Uh,
the guys ended up in the Springboks because England
yeah.
mends you up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
but
it was really
as
good, yeah.
well, cheese. There's a lot of guys who are now playing for Lions from the school, so that's also another thing that I noticed in Jengobuti. Clearly, yeah, people in Tuana
Yeah.
they interested in going to the school.
Yeah.
You
Now,
know,
but
yeah,
TV Junior
yeah,
rugby scale has always been really good.
yeah, it has been.
From the days of Sakeles and that today, it was really good.
Yeah,
That's why it says, I think that's why we know a lot about sports because we were
yeah,
exposed to all of these things
100%,
at that level.
fam. You actually make a valid point. This was our day to day conversation as lighties. We were very
Yeah.
exposed, you know,
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
sports. So yeah, man, it was
I
of
think that
course,
the
yeah.
big game is this weekend. So this was just
That's still a training game, dog. I'm telling you, yeah, let's be for real, guys. Italy, perfect. Admin
I
guy.
guess Sudan, it's a
Yeah,
so
I'm not even excited about that, dog. But I
the
watch it,
Pumas.
Jay.
Argentina shy Aganji.
Yeah, but Argentina are strong, bro.
Yeah.
Argentina, different breed.
those
Yeah, boy,
Pumas, those guys are
Argentina.
good.
Those guys are
So
good.
Usakumbula
Yeah,
back in high school, X
yeah,
our school used to go to Argentina. They used to fly our
yeah,
rugby team to Argentina. They Dala
yeah,
the Tri Nations before Ikala even.
yeah.
Our gents
I,
have been exposed to those guys. They begging you, Joe.
yeah.
Mm.
And as well,
Kidding?
yo, dude, you can clearly see Argentina, them joining even rugby championship has made them extremely strong, dude.
Yeah.
The
And
shy England, I call it England, fan.
yeah, dude. And even the British and Irish Lions also lost to them, you know, and they lost to them, and these guys were scoring incredible tries, you know. Guys are now doing one hand offloads, you know, they're learning a lot from playing against, you know, Australia and New Zealand
Yeah.
and SA.
But we
They
but we
becoming
just
stronger.
but we just so good in rugby done.
Yo,
I
fam.
always used to ask myself why we didn't dominate that sport as much as New Zealand did because we had a lot
Yeah,
to say in that space.
yeah.
But now it's just so good. Like every
Mm.
even the backup player, your starting player is whoever
Yeah.
comes in. It's just so good, dog.
It's so good, Beto.
Like go about when I
Yeah.
be country that has so many good number
Mm.
10s. We
Yo,
can pick any number 10 depending on the kind of game we want to play.
hundred
And they
Yeah.
percent.
come off the bench and they change.
I'm
how
intrigued.
we play as
I'm
well.
intrigued by this Sasha boy. I didn't
Uh,
like the hype around him, but now
No,
I
he's
can see
big
he's
now.
the
I
real
see he's
deal.
been working in the gym. Yo.
yeah,
Yeah,
he's
he
big. He's
has.
got
He's
size
been
now, and
working
as
in
well,
the
he's also
gym.
got leadership. He's also got leadership attributes as well because
Yeah.
he's captained the under 20s as well.
Yeah.
Even when you watch him do interviews, you can see he's media trained, and like
Ah.
rugby players
But
are
bafethu mina
generally media
ngisakhala
trained.
mfana ngomani. You see
Yeah,
Umani Libok
Libo.
has fixed his kicking.
Yeah,
Umani is
Ntwembu,
probably
man.
our most dynamic and best number 10 for me.
Yeah, if
Yes,
he
Abu Sasha
fixes his
Bayez, it's
kicking.
good to have them on the wings
Mm.
to assist. But Umani, once he's fixed his kicking, and it looks like he's fixed his kicking really well in
Yeah,
that game as well, he's going to
uh,
be a danger man for us. I mean,
and
he
he's a
is just so
yeah,
tricky.
and he's also quick. He's a running
Yeah,
number
yeah,
10. Those are my favorite type.
yeah.
Remember Dan
And he's so
Carter with
good,
New
man. He's
Zealand?
so good. The kicking,
Yeah,
those underpass, those drop.
yeah.
He's so good in terms of how
As
he
Kulumi
approaches the
Okata
number
in South
10.
Africa, my guy. Let's not go there.
Ah no, ma Ntwembu
Ah,
Khatha bekayinkinga mfethu.
Yeah, Carter was good.
Bekasiqeda ukhatha mfethu. Strong.
But that team was just good, Mfana. That whole
Yeah,
team was just really good, though.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
and that's what you need in order to win championships. A team that complements each
Mm,
other very well. I mean, Yabona
yeah,
Pelele Fast is so good.
yeah.
So good.
Ntwembu naye.
Imagine kuzobuya no one Peters
Damien Willemse.
Damian Williams.
Yeah, he's
Kuzobuya.
starting against Italy with Damien.
Yabo.
Yeah, he's
So
starting at 15.
he's a boss. He's
Yeah.
just our team is so good. I can't speak
Hey,
highly enough of him, pan.
and then even Cheslin, bruh. Did you see how he bounced the
Yeah,
hooker,
yeah,
bruh?
yeah.
And
I get that.
Cheslin bouncing hookers, bruh.
Ah,
who was man of the match
Hey,
in this game?
I don't know. So many guys
Luka
played
Shaw,
well.
fun. Yeah,
So
very
many
good.
guys
So
played well. Today, and I can't even pick Mfana.
it's you can
Yo,
see these
yo,
guys were
yo.
hungry to get back into that box shape, fun.
Yeah. And as well, it's also tough, guys. Like to get into the
Yeah,
23
into
man
that box
squad.
team, yeah.
Yo, but you have to ball out, Mfethu. You have to really, really raise your hand. And I mean, these are the fixtures, that you have to ball out. And it's crazy how even no Rassi is just rotating, rotating, putting in new players. And yeah, dog, it's crazy. We really are blessed in that regard that our rugby is on another level, man. And then in closing, I wanted us to touch on this because on the group, you
Who
guys
the
were
final boss Max
60.
is in talks with Toto, by the way.
Yeah,
What?
that's big news, bro. Big news.
With,
And
Yeah,
it's
it
about
with
is.
someone saying,
Mercedes?
Yeah.
yeah.
Hey.
And
So
it's a problem because for me it's a problem for Russell.
no, Russell is
Mm.
done for. Is Russell, if we're being honest, his wins are not a convincing win. It's either luck or or whoever is in front of him messes up.
Yeah, he's not
It's never
consistent.
him dominating a race. I haven't seen a race that I can say I know, like he was dominant and whatnot. But yeah,
But Ngubane, he's doing a lot with that car, fun. That car is very mid, fun. It's a very mid car. It's not like it's fast down the straights or fast in the corners. Like for Ferrari, we know they're not the fastest on down the straights. But in the corners and in
Ferrari, I think
winding roads,
it's a
it's really
carnival.
good.
It's a carnival. At Ferrari. Strategies I'm never shy. Let me. I just wanted to say this while I still remember. So for Max to get out of his contract because I think it's tied down until 2028. There's a couple of options that he has. One, he can buy himself out of the contract. That's gonna cost him. I think it's about 100 mil.
Gee
Yeah,
whiz.
yeah.
Yeah, but
To buy him.
Mercedes must pay. If you want me, you guys must pay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's Mercedes that has to
that's the
pay.
one way. Then the other way, apparently there's a release clause on his contract that if he achieves in a calendar year before the championship ends, if by the summer he is not in the top four, they can let him go or they can negotiate an exit. Um, but what does this mean now for him going if he were to end up at Mercedes? Russell is obviously the question mark. And Russell, it's not as easy as just him jumping over to Red Bull. Because remember, the Red Bull car was made for Max. That's why everyone who drives the car, who's like number two, always struggles because the car is Max. So it's going to be an interesting next couple of months. And the thing that makes me laugh the most is Russell's seat for next year is not, they haven't announced it and whatnot. Sure, fine. The kid, what's his name? The matric kid, he's sorted. He knows he's the future because he's quite quick.
Yeah,
But
Antonelli.
Antonio, yeah,
Antonelli, yeah.
no one from the camp, from the Mercedes camp, is saying anything to dismiss these rumors because these rumors started over the weekend when Max was very calm about him being knocked out in the second corner, and everyone's
But
like, okay,
but
is he
remember,
doing
it's not initially from there. It's from the last season. But remember, Umax last
the timer
season,
like
yeah, Umax the Tamalak wanted out because Itamalak is very against Lendolebe Yenze, who
the
the
whole
team
case, that
principal.
whole case that came
Yeah.
through? Yeah,
So that rumor never really died out. It was just like shoved in the back because no one wanted to speak about it. But now it's starting to become stronger and stronger because they can see with the Red Bull car isn't as great. Umax is
and I think
basically
with the
now
regulation
outperforming the
changes,
car. Umax is
with the
outperforming the
regulation
car.
changes, it looks like Mercedes has got the upper hand on all the other manufacturers.
Yeah,
So remember,
that's the case,
27.
especially for the next for the next season. There's a lot of changes, and there's a lot of cars that are going to be much stronger in terms of that. I think Aston Martin's also one of the cars that could benefit off of it.
No,
But
they've got Robert Newey. Sorry, not Robert, Adrian Newey. That guy is responsible for single-handedly developing a car and handing it over to Red Bull for them to dominate for the past, I'd say, about 10 years.
yeah, yeah.
Mm.
So for me, this season is, we all know it's very clear the McLarens are taking the season. It's going to be
Yeah,
too
yeah,
easy. But again, the drama between the two number ones just keeps
yeah,
continuing because there was an incident where Piastri actually almost took out both him and
Yeah,
Lando in that
it was
race.
corner number
He
five.
tried to, yeah,
He apologized
he
for
tried
it.
to go in. He had DRS tried to sneak into the corner, sneaking ahead just in the corner and turn, and decided to lock up with the brakes. Almost went into them. Could have ended in disaster for both of them. Could have been
Yep,
perfect for the Ferraris because the
I was saying,
Ferraris were the best of the rest in terms of
yeah.
all the cars on track here on track this weekend.
Mm.
which is why I was saying, in as much as I firmly believe in the olden way of looking at it, where you've got a number one driver and a number two driver. This we are racing is going to hamper progress here McLaren at some point, because right now there are no, this is number one, this is number two, and whatnot. But Oscar is a better driver than Orlando.
Yeah.
Orlando, I think, is seeing a psychiatrist right now because I think he's working on his mental power more than anything.
Mm.
And it came right this past weekend where he showed up. And I saw a side of Oscar that I didn't think existed because he's always been like ice cold and very focused and whatnot. Does his own race and the incident that you're speaking on Cheese, there was corner number 5 where he apologized at the end, and I'm like, I found that to be a bit of a, oh, okay, I didn't know that you could do that. Him apologizing is him noticing that he actually went over the line,
Yeah.
and the apology was more for the for whoever was listening. It wasn't part of the debrief because he knows once the debrief happens, it's going to be like, yo, guys, we can't have this happening. But at some point, Zach Brown has to put his foot down and say, guys, in as much as no one can touch these cars, we do not need to have incidents where we can knock each other out as Ferrari has done in the past, where it wasn't designated who's the first driver and who's the next driver. Let's take care of construction sorted. But as to who wins and
So
not, they have to make up their mind.
so the argument, right, and then maybe not the argument, but the discussion is that as long as them racing doesn't hamper the team results at the end of the day, they allow it. If the situation was that Max was a second behind Orlando or Norris, they wouldn't have allowed it. They would have said, look, we need to work as a team to make sure that we don't have
It's too late.
Verstappen pushing it, right? But I mean, Leclerc
Like it's
and Leclerc and Hamilton were about freaking 8 seconds or something behind. It
Yeah.
yeah.
was
I
you could
think
just
also
see even when they changed tires and their tires were digging more, they were still so far off the pace. And in that instance, it's like let those two guys race. As long as Banga Chaser and Wayne Zaini, it's fine. But again, Oscar Piastri, back to that fact that you alluded to, Ngwane, he's more of an aggressive driver than
Yeah.
Lando, and that makes the difference. If you're more aggressive in
That's
F1 and you're willing to take a bit more calculated risks, the difference between
yeah.
a risk against Orlando in the last race and a calculated risk in terms of I might make this apex, but if I do make this apex and Uloros doesn't give me space, we crash together, we cross the race. So lock up, break, yapping, or find another
construction
track.
points gone.
Yeah, you
Wow.
see. So he's very
Yeah.
smart about it. He understands that you might lose the fight, but you win the war.
Yeah, that's true.
I was laughing because I was watching the Sky's coverage on this weekend's race because it's Silverstone, and
Mm.
gone are the days where I think they used to do both or yeah both English drivers, but now I'm noticing that Lando is the picture boy. Everything is evolving around him. The interviews are around him and whatnot. Russell is not even getting a mention. I even asked myself, did he change allegiance? Is he no longer English? Lewis, okay, fine. Lewis, they didn't have a choice but to deal with the greatest racing driver of all time. But it's kind of weird. Just yeah, sorry, something I observed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean it's touted as the British race because also the kid who's also driving for Haas is also English, Ollie Behrman.
Oh, payment.
Yeah,
Oh.
so there's
Yeah.
about four British drivers this weekend who are
I
in
think
the
also
war.
we need an episode on
Mm.
drivers that are hogging seats for talent just because they've got money.
Mm. Damn.
Sorry, I'm not talking
Yeah.
about
Ah, no, no,
Lance.
no.
I'm talking about money.
Yeah.
You're speaking about thingy son, Aston Martin. Stroll.
No, no, I
Stroll.
wasn't talking about
You,
Lance. I never mentioned Lance's name.
you didn't mention
I
Lance.
just said, but he is blocking a seat. I know he watches the thing. He watches the podcast and whatnot. He is
Yeah.
blocking a seat for a better driver.
That's true. That's true. That's true. That's true.
But end of the
Yeah.
day, guys, make money so that your kids can block seats also.
100%. Naranjan. Naranjan. Ah, no, Jets. I think you see. Oh, yeah. One more question here. Thingy from Putrano.
I think what's going to happen with Kyalami Porsche is going to, because I think Porsche is coming through. Porsche is going to push for Kyalami. Kyalami is going to get
Mm.
it, but it's going to result in the locals feeling very disgruntled because the prices are going to be European
Absorbitons.
prices. Yeah,
Yo, are you for
You
real,
know,
dog?
yeah.
you know what the problem with
Ah,
you know
guys,
what the
come
problem with
on.
Kailami? The problem with Kailami is where it's situated. The roads
Mm,
leading in and out of Kailami circuit
mm.
Yeah.
is just so
You're
tight.
right.
It's just so tight. For me,
Well,
it
it's going to
didn't
be
make
bringing
sense.
guys, rich guys that are going to wander my helipad, and
Yeah.
I think for us, we can just hope to go either the Friday or the Saturday, but the main race, just forget.
Yo, I forget, bro. Unless if you're staying in the States, dog. You know, there's those states. A
Yeah,
lot
and
of the
then but like
accommodation was higher
there's an
up.
opportunity
You
for
can
those
literally
guys that stay in
watch.
those estates in that they
Yeah,
can hire their houses out for
true.
yeah,
And people
because
can
I think
actually see from the track from there. Like,
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
the
from Kailami
nostalgia.
State. Yeah.
Yeah, the nostalgia of it all. I mean, think about it. The last race there was Kalam was in 1983. So
Mm.
imagine the guy who was born in 83 is 40 something now. Um, I mean,
So
that
you
person went with their father.
Yeah.
What was that?
Yeah.
so you're speaking about you. When you saw the first race.
It's the nostalgia of it all.
Yeah.
Shit. What did I do now?
I
Sorry, I
talks.
went
We
out.
can hear you. We can hear you still.
Nah. So the nostalgia of it all,
Mm.
look, now you can take your kids and whatnot, but the prices, guys, the prices are gonna kill us. End of the
Ah,
day,
no.
I think we spoke about this, that it's business, it's not personal. So in as much as we are wanting to own it, it's not we can't own it. It's how do I put it? It's a circus that goes from one area to the next area to the next area. I don't know what they call that, but it's an act
Mm.
that goes, and we can't own it. And our rand is very weak, and we're going to be
Yo.
fighting with guys that are coming in with euros, with
Yeah.
the dollar, with the pound, and you can't really fight that unless
Yo.
unless they pull a deal and say, hey, uh, if you're a local, you're going to get a discount of some sort and
First
whatnot. But
preference.
then in itself,
That's
like, we're still fighting
yeah.
with. Actually, I'll stop. To war we're
Yeah.
fighting with.
Yeah, no, because if they're at that price, Mfana, it's gonna be way too expensive, Mfana. Like, our currency in comparison to the euro and pound is, night and day, Mfana. I'm just
Well,
hoping, I'm just hoping this channel blows up and we get tickets for free. Ntanga.
well,
Sibangene,
I think
sibangene.
they also have to be smart about
Mm,
it if they bring it to South Africa.
mm,
Lewis has to be an ambassador of some sort,
yeah,
because I think he still has pull. That that
yeah,
that man, he's got
serious
marketing. He's
pull.
got pull for days, and we
Yeah,
need to. He's been very vocal about bringing it to South Africa, or bring it to Africa. But I think we need to get him on our side, in that he must
yeah,
fly our flag. Whether
he
we
must.
give him like two wives, I don't know, something.
Or you can feature on the pod. Hey, Lewis, you must pull through, dog. Yeah, we'll teach you Zulu. Yeah, we'll teach you Zulu. Yeah. I know, but gents, I think this guy Vala there, guys. Thank you so much for availing yourselves on a Wednesday. Guys, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Help us out. Help us reach a point where we can, see Formula
We can
One in
get we can get
person.
Lewis. We can get
Yeah, we
Lewis.
can get
He
Lewis.
watches. So
Yeah,
yeah, we sorted.
yeah, indeed. This is Easy Sport, and we're out.
Take it
Peace,
easy.
gents.
Peace.
Don't forget to
Peace.
say course.